but I was gonna write something down, and I was like, maybe I'll type it, but then I was like, I'll just record what I'm about to say. So, you know, I was reading the Samsung news this morning that they're taking over the contract for Verizon for their 5G equipment in America because China's banned, right? Or they're trying to ban, the company they currently get it from, which is China. So they're going to Samsung, which is Japan. So with that being said, of course, 5G towers has been a topic all 2020. For those who are aware, like for me, I've been known about 5G towers and the shit having to go on with them way prior to 2020, because there's actual places who, like, when the towers first went into effect, like, they would be on the news for like a bunch of birds dying and falling out of the air, or the cities that they were trying to install them in were trying to, fight the installation. Like, this was going on way before 2020. But anyways, it brought me to the 5G towers, and just the word tower. So the word tower, and so the actual like word tower, it's a tall structure, but it's a tall structure that is built with a purpose to be used from that tallness. And the types of towers you may have is towers that are for tall, so you could see in the far distance for defense purposes. That's one type of tower. Or a tower that you can place something on that can be easily seen or visible. So for example, a clock tower, or a telecommunication tower. Telecommunication tower, which is a tower that is used to communicate. Yeah. We also have like electrical towers. You know what I'm saying? The electrical towers for the electrical grid. Anyways, so that brought me on to a subject that I would like to talk about, specifically, which is an actual place. It's an actual tower. It is factual. It is known to have been there. This is not just via Bible. This is actual history. The Tower of Babylon, which is also known as the Tower of Babel. And if you know about the Tower of Babel, Christian history or Jewish history, the way they would teach it to you would be that there was a tower that was so tall, and that the gods, and yes, the gods that came were like, because God talked to others, and when you read the story, God speaks with people in his camp, you know what I'm saying, on the decision that if we let these people keep continuing to build this tower, they will reach the heavens. They will reach the heavens. So why that's a problem, I don't know. But they want to knock it down. And they say when they knock it down, everyone was spread, and it confused their tongue, their language, right? But like I said, all towers are built with a purpose, a purpose to use their tallness for. So the story is taught like that tower is like for leisure or marketplace, and it gets knocked down, and for whatever reason, everyone's language is spread. But if you're a person who looks at any type of ancient temples, ancient buildings, and like you kind of have any type of awareness, people say like, oh, the pyramids were built by aliens, and these types of things. Well, there's deep off into that, but once you understand what these structures really were, you know that there was electricity used back then. There was communication devices used back then. So when you think of the story as a telecommunication tower, it all starts to make sense. So when you understand that the Tower of Babylon, or the Tower of Babel, which the actual word Babel means like words, to talk, to speak, to communicate, yeah. So when you understand that these towers are used, when it says they could reach the heavens, they were not talking about the tower physically reaching the heavens that they would reach. We're talking about communication towers. That if these people continued all working together with this same type of technology, that they will advance so quickly that they will be able to communicate in the heavens, which is other places in the galaxy, the universe, planets, you know, outside of Earth. That's what they're actually talking about. This tower was a communication tower. And then you understand how it's not the languages are confused, it's the communication is confused because they ruin the technology. And once you ruin that technology, it can be very hard to recreate it in the same way. So now you're going to have people who now are still maybe using older, like for example, when we talk about different 5G, 4G, or you could even talk about telephone wires. If telephone wires versus telephone digitally on the airwaves, the communication is different. Like digital communication on the TV. If your TV is digital, used to, it was on an antenna, it was on analog. So you cannot get the digital channels, the digital communications, if your device is only set up to receive analog. You know what I'm saying? So you may be trying to communicate, this place has analog and this place has digital and this place is wired and this place is wireless. And at that point in time, they maybe could not communicate with each other due to the fact that they did not have the same type of technology, or they weren't on the same communication wavelengths or same type. So if you're in their area, their city, yeah, that's what they use, but outside of there, you weren't able to communicate. So maybe this tower was a tower that linked actually all the people together so that they could communicate with their different types of technologies that they have. And once that tower was lost, their confusion is there. They can no longer communicate. They can no longer communicate with each other because this tower that was in existence that linked all the different types. Like for example, like India has all kinds of different towers, all kinds of different structures, lingams that, they'll say it's mythology, but it's like they worship this thing and it gave power and light, but that's not what it is. It is a thing that gave life, like for example, like light, electricity. So it's treated like a mythology when really it was a technological thing. And when the ability or knowledge to use that thing was lost, it was revered, but no one knows how to operate it. You know what I'm saying? So once that tower fell, the link to a lot of people communicating was gone. And that's just one example, in my opinion, of biblical or historical stories where they're actually trying to tell you about ancient technology and the story is actually confused and wrong. They're telling you, once you study words, the source of words, the structure of words, where they come from, where they mean, I love words, then you really have understanding for the meaning of why things are called certain things and the purpose of them. And you can really break down a lot of things that really are stories of great technology at that time, that's told to you in a completely wrong manner. Oh yeah, and one more thing, to bring you back to also the beginning of the story, is that when you study the etymology of the word, for example, which is used a lot in the Bible, Lord, the Lord. Well, the Lord is actually the ruler or the governor, the one you are ruled by, the one you are governed to. Doesn't necessarily mean God. So sometimes you'll see the Lord in the Bible, and then you'll see the Lord God. And you can study the word God as well. We could get into the etymology of that, but we're not going to. But then you understand that the Lord who wanted to destroy that tower, the ones who didn't want the people to communicate, was the government. And then it makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Why they would not want them to reach the heavens to communicate. Why the rulers or the governors or the government would not want the people to have such a technology that not only can they all communicate with each other, but they can get outside of the earth and communicate with the heavens. The government did not want that, so it was destroyed. And then it makes sense. You see what I'm saying?